All right, we are live. Let me just make sure my camera is clear. Hang on. All right. So, got about a minute to go before we start this live stream. Hello, everyone. All right, you're watching Bow and Arrow Tarot. This is the Taurus reading scheduled for noon today, Eastern Standard Time. Just gonna wait a few minutes to let people come on into the stream. And we will start at 12. All right. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, this is the weekly, every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I put out the weekly readings for all the signs. We pull out 3 romance angel cards, and then we pull out 3 animal spirit cards, and we will then go ahead and pull out several forecasts for the week with the Radiant Rider deck. And of course, please do chat, send questions if you have any questions. If any of the readings or the forecasts resonate with you and you have a particular point you would like me to explore, please feel free. And then if anyone wants to get a little bit insight on their situation at the end of the reading, we can do a little like question and answer session for anybody who wants to get a few cards pulled for them. Just send me a super chat donation and we can do that. All right, guys, so it's 12 o'clock. Let's get right into it. Today is all about Taurus. Now, I am a Sagittarius myself, but I do have a Taurus rising. And so I do resonate with the Taurus readings a lot of the time. I urge you to check your natal chart and check the placements of your planets and your rising sign. And go ahead and check out the readings for those as well. Sometimes they can resonate more than your sun sign reading. All right, guys, let's get right into it for this week. October 13th to the 19th for Taurus. All right, here we go. Straight out the gate, we have religious factors. So this card actually came out yesterday for a couple of the readings, a couple of the, I want to say the fire sign readings. And we have wedding. All right, so some of you will be going to a wedding. You may be in a wedding. It may be your wedding. Situation involves marriage. And we have give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. All right. So these are the 3 romance angel messages for the week. I just want to pull them down so we can see them a bit better. All right. And so now we're going to go and pull out your animal spirits. Now, we won't really know what these messages entail until we go ahead into your spread. All right. And then it will become a bit more clear how they're impacting your week, Taurus. So let's go ahead into your animal spirits. Now, animal spirits can come in as events in your life, stages in your life. They can be energies that you're drawing on to, let me make sure, I hope my camera's focusing. All right. Energies that we are drawing on to help you get through a particular situation, right? And they can also resonate with personalities that are coming into your life. All right, Taurus. So let's see what animal spirits you're walking with this week. We had some real zingers come out yesterday for some of the signs. Some really strong animal spirit energies coming out. And this is for Taurus, October 13th to the 19th. I'm always looking for ideas about what to read for specific topics or what to discuss regarding the tarot. And so if there is anything that you have, any questions that you may have, let me just straighten this, about tarot reading, tarot spreads, please feel free, okay? So first out, we have the horse. Beautiful, strong energy, earth energy. Right. The horse is the master of the earth plane when we talk about spirit animals. We will get right into. I'm going to review the 3 animals before we get into your spreads. But of course, being a Sagittarius, of course, I do love the horse. And we have the rabbit. Wow. Okay, so rabbit energy is interesting. This card doesn't come up a lot. But it's also an earth animal spirit, very fearful, right? Very fearful. A lot of anxiety associated with the rabbit. And then we have the crow. Now the crow is the highest card in the deck for magic, right? Magic, the occult. Of course, the crow is a long-standing totem for the witch, right? People who practice witchcraft, who are into witchcraft, people who are into the occult or magic. The crow has a very significant place in that theology. And it is a theology, folks, right? You know, if you're watching a tarot reading, then, you know, you're beyond the concept of, you know, inherent good and evil and ideas, right? I mean, it's people who make things good and evil. So witchcraft and all that type of thing, occultism and stuff, and the various avenues of thought or bodies of thought, that's all it is. They're various theologies that we follow, and there's nothing to be afraid of there. All right, guys, so let's get right into your animal spirits. First off, we have the horse. Beautiful, strong. This is one of the strongest cards, one of the strongest animal spirits in the deck for support and for determination. All right, support, determination, groundedness. One of the highest cards for self-mastery along with the lion. All right. The horse comes in when we need support, right? The horse carries us over rocky terrain. It doesn't matter how far you need to go, how long the journey is. It doesn't matter how rough the journey is. The horse animal spirit, this energy will not let you down. It will carry you to your destination regardless. And this is a really beautiful, strong, earthy energy to have, especially when you're going through a very difficult stage, when you're going through a stage that has to be seen to the end. You know, you're on a path. You can't stop the path that you're on. And so when you have horse energy coming in, either that could be an individual who's supporting you, or it could be a sense of energy within yourself that you're tapping into. But it's dogged, right? It's a momentum. It's a strong, dogged determination, and the momentum keeps up as well. It's just as when you see a horse riding, running over the plains, right? It's that kind of power, right? And that kind of stability as well. Very, very strong, very good card for support when you're going through very difficult situations, especially when you're going through difficult situations in the earth realm or the material realm, meaning physical issues, health issues, moving issues, job issues, right? Anything like that, dealing with poverty, periods of poverty, or dealing with particular obstacles that you have to overcome. This realm is absolutely mastered by the animal, the horse. Now, as determined and courageous and stable as the horse is, we now really juxtapose to the rabbit. And here we have kind of an apex creature. The horse is really not a predator because it doesn't prey on other animals, right? It doesn't eat other animals or anything. But it is an apex animal in the sense that nothing hunts the horse, right? But the rabbit is very different. The rabbit is a prey creature. The rabbit is hunted. And that will tell you a little bit about the nature of rabbit energy. When we're resonating with rabbit energy, we're fearful, right? We're very fearful, anxious, always worried. You know, the rabbit, you ever have that friend in your social circle who's always like bemoaning their fate? They're very pessimistic. They're always, you know, thinking about, oh, well, with my luck, I won't get the job. Or with my luck, I'll get into a car crash. Or with my luck, blah, 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 blah. You know, this kind of bemoaning, kind of, I don't want to say miserable, but just, feeling like the world is out to get you, right? At any moment, the rabbit is the same. At any moment, the rabbit is always worrying about which creature is about to come down and gobble it up. And so the rabbit is very synonymous with a feeling of fear, of anxiety, of nervousness, uh, of not feeling as though life will treat it fairly, will be kind to it. This is kind of this energy. Now, if you're resonating with this, right, oftentimes the way to get out of this sort of rut, right, of feeling like this way is really just to step away from the world, retreating. This is why the Hermit card is so powerful in so many ways, right? The Hermit card is associated with Virgo, which is actually one of the most ancient constellations. And, in all situations, especially when we're dealing with situations where we're feeling out of sorts, out of character, where we're feeling as though our emotions are being sort of run through the blender, it's always wise to step back from the world. Take a step back, take some time for yourself. Now, the crow. Wow, what can I say? Potent magic here. The crow is the symbol for the occult, is the highest card for magical potential. So here we're talking about opening up, right? It's air energy. So we're talking about opening up your mind, expanding your mind to the possibilities that you haven't necessarily considered before. The crow represents magic coming into your life. So you may just be suddenly going down a particular path, or having certain events happen in your life and experiences that are opening up your belief and faith in perhaps other things that aren't so easily seen in magic, really, the magic of life, right? Oftentimes, the crow can also come in indicating when we have sort of embraced perhaps a path that involves healing, that involves exercising our extrasensory perception. You may be getting into that world, right? And so the crow kind of it just represents a dawning, an awakening to a particular type of life, or a particular path in life that is much more orientated to belief systems that may be considered taboo, right? Belief systems that are outside of the popular sort of realm, right? And that are just straight out associated with meditation, Reiki, tarot, healing, witchcraft, occult, studying numerology, studying astrology, all of these things, waking up to a desire for that in your life can often mean that the crow is coming in. The crow is also the symbol for messages coming in, opening up your senses to be able to receive important messages, whether they are from the divine, whether they are from your ancestors, whether they are from your higher spiritual self, wherever these very important messages that you need to hear are coming from, the crow is letting you know that they're on their way, they're coming in, and you need to pay attention. All right, guys, so these are the three animal spirits, and there we go, the high priestess just fell out. Let's go ahead and get into your 3-card spreads. Now, this is going to be about 5 to 8 3-card spreads for the week. And this is in a general reading, so this is in love, life, and career. I pulled the romance and angel messages because they can give an indication of what kind of dynamic you're having this week with individuals, or what kind of dynamic your relationships are going through this week, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that all of the spreads will be about relationships, and it doesn't necessarily mean that all of these messages are only about love connections. They can also impact other types of relationships and other types of events coming into your life. But my audience, my subscribers, and the people who generally come to my videos are extremely intelligent and savvy, and they know how to pick out what applies to them and let the rest fly, right? So I don't need to tell you that. Let's get right into it, Taurus. And pull out your first forecast and we'll go from there. Now, I'll be streaming all day, and you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook now. Um, all of that, all of those sites are either Bow Arrow Tarot or Bow and Arrow Tarot, and all of my notifications go up on those sites. So if you're on your Twitter all day and you want to know when a video is coming on, just go ahead and join my Twitter account and you'll get the notification. Here we go. Justice, the Devil, woo, and 6 of Wands. Wow. Okay, so this reminds me of crow energy coming in, right? Something has been a little bit out of balance, right? There's a balance coming into your life, and that balance that's coming into your life is coming in because of a high level of creativity, and perhaps somehow this crow energy is coming in. Now, it's coming in almost to give you a validation about something. It could very well be that you have had a particular stance on an issue, right? That you've had, you've held a particular position, right, on a topic to do with magic or creativity or that realm, right? Or it can be that you have been sort of working in this field for a while, right? And things have been a little bit out of balance. One of the things we have with the Crow card also, though, that there is a warning and admonishment to make sure you remain balanced, because when you come out of balance with this kind of energy, you can quickly fall into delusional thinking and craziness, right? I mean, not everything is the spirit. Not everything. Some shit is just crazy. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be able to discern that, right? So be careful, because you don't want to be the person walking down the street talking to themselves. That can very well happen if you don't keep a balance here, right? However, it almost seems as though maybe you're working in this field, and somewhere along the line, it could be, we have religious factors. It could be that your family or your social circle was not giving you the support. Maybe they were treating you like you were nuts, or telling you that, you know, what you're into is nonsense. And so there wasn't that support there, right? However, this week, something happens, something turns. You get some kind of notification, almost even some kind of an official notification, I'm going to say, and the balance is redressed, right? The balance is redressed, and devil energy comes in. Now, the devil card is very misunderstood. A lot of times people talk about the devil card representing evil. First of all, the tarot does not recognize the concept of evil. That's not a concept that's part of the tarot theology. So here the devil is, this card is associated with Capricorn energy, okay? The devil is the highest card for creativity. The devil is associated with the second chakra, which is the pelvic bowl chakra. It's where our sexual and sensual passions come from. It's where our fire comes from. It's the Kundalini energy that drives us. Now, the ultimate expression of this is producing a child. When we have sex, when we have intercourse with another human being, and our bodies and our emotions and souls intertwine, we create the most incredible thing in the world. We create another life. And so how can the devil be associated with evil? It's not. However, what happens is another form of this high level of creativity, when it is properly connected, right, to your soul and your heart, right? That's where we get works of art. That's where we get symphonies and frescoes and books. These all come out of devil energy. Now, when the devil energy is not connected to a higher purpose, right? This is when we become a slave to our passions, right? You see the couple there is enslaved. This is the second 5. The first 5, remember, is the Hierophant. And with the Hierophant, we don't see so much 2 people enslaved, but we see 2 people sort of in prostration and sort of like humbleness to the Hierophant. Here they are enslaved, and they are enslaved to their desires, because they haven't focused them for an ultimate good, a higher good. And this is when we see codependency. This is when we see toxicity, toxic relationships, addictions, instant gratification, and being a slave to those things. And this is where we then begin to see what we will consider evil behavior, negative behavior, right? That is the nature of the devil card. But it is the highest card for creativity. And I want to say this is coming in because it has been this kind of juxtaposition for some of you Taurus, right? You are highly creative in a lot of ways. Taurus is the earth energy. And remember, the Hierophant is the card for Taurus. Devil is the card for Capricorn. And so the Taurus energy is indeed a creative energy, a forward-moving creative energy, right? But when your creativity isn't funneled down the right way, you can oftentimes spiral into drinking, negative behavior, quick satisfaction, over-sexualization, right? Having a lot of sex to become sort of to satiate that desire, right? So you walk a very fine line. And so this has been out of balance for you, right? And it could be as well that this is one of the reasons why some of your family and social group don't support you, because they see that on the one hand, sometimes you walk this really altruistic line and you really are indeed full of magic and creativity. It's almost as if you fucking shit frescoes, you know what I mean? And at other times you're miserable. You may have times that you kind of fall into darkness because your creative outlet isn't there. This has been out of balance, and so this week it comes into balance, and the people who really didn't have your back see a victory. You have a very public victory, a very public vindication that comes in this week. Almost as if it feels as though, like, see, I told you I wasn't crazy. See, I told you I was right. Whatever it is, it's going to be very public, and it's going to be undeniable, Taurus. I took a little bit longer to explain that one because I really, whenever I get the devil card or certain cards that are oftentimes misinterpreted coming up, I like to spend a little bit more time on them so that people really understand where I'm coming from. This is a very, very good spread for some of you Tauruses out there who are artists, who are edgy artists, and who walk a fine line between the light and dark in life, between the occult or the darker, more taboo side of life, and the rest of life, if you know what I mean. And this week is a great week for you guys. Six of Swords, another six, Five of Wands, and Page of Swords. Now, 6 is the number for journeying towards harmony, whereas 5 is the number for power struggle. Here we find that you have made a decision to move away from toxicity. Some of you Tauruses have made a decision to stop engaging with a particular dynamic that has been very difficult for you, where the communication has been really off. There may have been a lot of fighting, a lot of strife. Remember, before the 6, there was the 5 of Swords. And 5 of Swords, it's really just sort of like combating back and forth with someone who isn't playing fairly. 5 of Swords can also be when people bring you down to their level. But here we have a 6. And so with the 6, you turn your back on it. Some of you may be leaving certain social circles, or you may be leaving the dynamic of a particular group that you realize is no longer positive. You know, you might be just hanging around people or around an environment where everybody's always negative. They're bringing you down. You just fucking had enough. You're moving on from that. But this moving on has caused a power struggle, right? Now, 5 of Wands is that one-upmanship. 5 of Wands is that kind of power struggle. You see the 5 youths sort of batting each other around with wands. Well, it's I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. I'm smarter. I'm more spiritual. I'm more conscious. I'm more aware. No, I'm more, you know what I mean? Like, really, all of that, right? Back and forth, arguing, you know. It's just nonsense. Nobody's better than anybody else. And nobody has a plug into some sort of secret spiritual outlet that makes them any better than anybody else. I really abhor that sort of attitude that people have sometimes. But in any case, your decision to move forward and to be progressive in your life causes this. And there are people around you, Taurus, who are going to be feeling some kind of way. You know, they're in competition with you, and because you've done something really positive, they're absolutely dying to show just how much more positive than you they are, or just how much more enlightened than you they are. And what comes out of this is you realize something, you get an awareness. Page of Swords comes in, and it's kind of an inspiration comes in, an idea comes in. There's there's a mental awakening that happens with you this week. Almost, I don't want to say it's an epiphany. It's not that strong as an epiphany, but there's something that you wake up to and realize about this dynamic this week that you didn't realize before. And it comes specifically out of the way people are reacting to your decision, right, to not engage in negativity anymore. I always say in my readings that whenever we make a conscientious decision towards positivity in our lives, there oftentimes, a Five of Wands will come up, or Five of Swords will come up, or a Seven of Swords will come up. People who just don't want to let you do the right thing for yourself, right? They're jealous. They're envious because you're doing something they can't do. And out of all of this, like I said, you get a great awareness this week about a particular dynamic. And it's a reaffirmation that you made the right choice here. Fool, Four of Wands, and Four of Pentacles. So fours are all about stability, maintaining stability. So some of you are about to engage on a new path. You're about to start a new journey with a loved one. You're about to be married. Four of Wands can certainly indicate, if we've got wedding from the romance angels up, some of you are about to start a wedded life, a married life, but there's some concern about money. All right, there's a worry about money all of a sudden. And so this week you really have to deal with that. You talk about it. Somebody may either be suddenly becoming very miserly now that you're married to them, or somehow, for whatever reason, this connection, this new connection is starting off with a threat to your finances, all right? And so this week, this becomes known to some of you. And I want to say, why is this is such a straightforward spread. Why is it coming up? It's coming up because oftentimes when we start a new path, and certainly when we're talking about the Fool, people talk about the Fool taking a leap of faith because his foot is up. Yeah, okay, yeah, he's taking a leap of faith because he's starting something new. But the Fool, more than anything, represents a quantum leap in our expansion, awareness, and understanding. The Fool can't move on to the next stage unless he's learned what he needed to from this stage. And that's really the most important aspect to the Fool card. This is not a whole card to tell people to take a leap of faith. The card is really more reminding you that you are now going through a quantum shift in your understanding. And why are you the Fool if your understanding increases? Because the more we know we don't know. Right? So every time we learn something, whenever we truly take an expansive step or a quantum leap in our understanding, we also get brought right back down to Fool status. Because as soon as we realize something or acquire this knowledge, we realize how much more knowledge we have yet to acquire. And so we become the Fool all over again at another stage in our lives. And so this stage in your life is very important for you to pay attention to that. This is not just about you starting a new path, but this is about you integrating the lessons of the paths that you've walked up until now, and applying those lessons to this issue here, this threat to your finances, and how you're going to deal with this in a positive and healthy way now that you're moving forward with this wedding, this connection, this long-term connection, by the way. Four of Wands promises to be a very deep, long-enduring soulmate connection. Four, there you go. The other four, Four of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, and Ace of Cups. So again, we're talking about stability. This week is obviously a week about testing stability, maintaining stability, and searching for stability for Tauruses. Four of Cups talks about showing improving. This person's like, well, if you're only giving me that empty cup, I don't want it. You're going to have to show me more than an empty cup coming out of a cloud, handed to me from a cloud. Who are you and what do you bring with that cup? Because this cup looks very much like the other cups I've been through, and they weren't satisfactory. They weren't enough. I've learned my lesson from them. And so here with Four of Cups, we talk about wanting to maintain stability in relationships, making sure that you don't enter into relationships unless they start off from a position of stability, right? And trust, right? Not just a wishy, oh, here's a cup, you're going to take it? Sure, I'll take it. I don't know who you are. You're just telling me words. You haven't proven anything. You haven't shown me by your actions how much you care, but your words are so sweet, I'm going to fall for it. No. This person is not falling for it, and you're not falling for it, Taurus. So whoever's offering you this cup of love this week, you're not necessarily ready to take it yet. Although Ace of Cups comes up, you're not ready to take it yet. And this is not to say that you say no, but it's almost like go back, think about this again and come to me with something, more substantial. You know what I'm saying? Seven of Pentacles is up. And so for some of you, I'm going to say, Taurus, not only have you kind of pulled back from a particular relationship, this could be a relationship that you're already in, but you're starting to pull back from because they're starting to show signs of being the type of relationships that you've had before that you're not willing to entertain, shallow, flighty, or there may be behavior patterns that you're not willing to entertain. And then what happens with this just kind of knocks on and makes you sort of reevaluate a lot of the fruits of your labor altogether. Hello, Irie. Could that be an ex coming back? If you're talking about the Four of Cups, it could absolutely be an ex coming back. But when they're coming back, they're still not coming back with enough. So for you, for some of you, if this is indeed someone coming back who you've had a cup of love before with, you're still not willing to take their cup of love yet because they haven't come back showing you anything significant. The essence of the card is that you're unwilling, regardless of whether this is an old lover or a new lover, you're unwilling to take the cup because you know in your heart of hearts that what you're seeing now, let me hold it up, what you're seeing now looks very much like what you've been through before. And you weren't happy before. So you're not willing to take just the cup. This is my show and prove card. Show and prove who you are. And so like I said, this knocks on also your sense of sort of reevaluating where you're at in your life, right? Reevaluating the fruits of your labor. Is this what I want for yourself? Some of you could be evaluating your abundance, your career status, your financial status, because it could be that this is one of the reasons why you keep taking this person back. Sometimes we take people back because we love them or we care for them, but sometimes we take them back because they're helping us. Sometimes we have to think to ourselves, well, am I with this person because they're making my life a bit more convenient? If I had all the money and convenience and everything that I needed, would I actually be with this person? You got to ask yourself this question. You got to be really honest about it, because a lot of times I don't think we face up to the fact that sometimes the only reason we're with somebody is really because they actually bring favor to our lives, or they bring a level of support to our lives that makes our lives a little bit easier. If we had all of the support already, or all of the money, all of this finance or this abundance, etc., whatever it is we need to get on with things already, a lot of us wouldn't deal with half of the people we deal with. However, this does still turn into an Ace of Cups. So this week, there's, you may send them back, but it's a good move to send them back. And you may be reevaluating a lot of the fruits of your labor, but you certainly do go into an Ace of Cups later on this week, and that can certainly be because of the way you handled the situation. Sometimes we have to be strong enough to send somebody away and say, look, work harder. And be prepared for them to either return, having worked harder, or not return at all. But it's better to be strong enough to send them away and make them show and prove. The Moon, Death, and Ace of Pentacles. All right, I'm going to finish off here. Wow. The Moon talks about a final testing period, and Death is change coming in. So some of you Tauruses are going through a very dark period right now. I'm going to say this could be to do with your career or your a creative outlet that you're trying to make money with or that you're depending on for your financial stability, right? However, it's been difficult. It's been very hard. You've been working in the dark a lot of the time, unsure of yourself. You feel like you're on the right path. You feel like you're doing the right thing, but then um, uncertainty comes in, right? And this is all to do with the moon. The moon also talks about, a testing period, right? A testing phase that we go through. Are you strong enough to face the unknown? Are you able to apply all of the lessons you've learned up until now to this path? What do you have to fear but fear itself? And all of these things is really what the moon card is all about. It's associated with Piscean energy as well. However, this is just it's been a very difficult, emotionally testing period for you, Taurus, up until now. This week, everything changes, though. And for some of you, you've gone through this. You've met it head on. You've been strong enough to go through that. Oh, hi, Pamela. Oh, thank you so much. You've been very strong to go ahead and go into that unknown territory, regardless of how fearful you may have been. This could be a job or a career, right? I myself am a Taurus rising. I've been reading tarot cards for over 25 years for friends and family. I've never done it for money. I've always done it just as a gift to people. But this year I started my channel, right? My tarot channel that you guys are watching now, and I love it. But it was scary. I mean, I'm giving you this example from my own experience. It was terrifying, right? How will I be received? How will I do it on this medium? It's usually face-to-face. The energies are in the room. What will my success be like? I feel like I'm on the right path, but am I on the right path? This is all an example of what it is like to face the unknown, and it's a testing period, right? So now some of you may have gone through that, but then this week the death happens, the change happens, and the abundance comes in. The beginning of the abundance comes in. If you've started a business or a career or a creative endeavor, or you started a new school and it's been full of all of this anxiety, this week it's almost as if everything that you've been going through finally sort of shifts and finally integrates, right? It's almost as if time has caught up with you and the dividends come in, because the Ace of Pentacles comes in, which is a beautiful opportunity for abundance. Ace of Pentacles is the type of opportunity that comes in that promises abundance, that promises success, right? It's the essence of the Pentacles. The aces carry the essence of the suit. And the essence of Pentacles energy is manifesting your dreams in the real world, making them real, accomplishing them. And so you begin to see this week, and certainly for some of you Tauruses who have been through a very difficult, emotionally testing phase, a period where you've been really walking alone, and you've been having to sort of face some of your fears alone. It really comes out quite beautifully this week. All right, guys, I am going to leave it there. We're a little bit longer than usual because these are live streams. I'm going to leave it there. If this resonated, the best thing you can do for me is help me grow my channel, guys. So share the videos on your social media. Subscribe, hit the notification, because I do release a lot of videos throughout the week. I do upload constantly, and oftentimes I may upload a general reading for the entire collective. I do have several pick-a-card readings as well, and so if you hit that notification, you'll get notified on all of that as well. So I'm going to sign off now and get ready for the 1 o'clock reading. At 1 o'clock, we're going to get right into Virgo, the next earth sign, and that will be a live stream, so look out for that, cross watchers. But for right now, thank you so much for stopping by. Ivory G and Pamela D, thank you very, very much for your chat, and I shall see you guys next week for next week's weeklies, or I'll see you at 1 o'clock today, Eastern Standard Time, for the Virgo weekly reading. Bye-bye now.